Maybe what we could do is hand over to our feature focus for today, which is Richard Bradley from Midlands Connect, who will be presenting on developing an enterprise architecture to check future resource requirements and future consumption. So I've mangulated that title there, sorry Richard. So maybe best over to you and you can present and introduce yourself, please.
Sure, yeah, I'm just going to share my screen. If somebody could tell me whether they can see that okay?
It's come through, yes, we can see it.
Yeah. Great, thanks. So hi, I'm Richard Bradley. I head up the strategy team at Midlands Connect. Midlands Connect is one of 7 subnational transport bodies in England. We are a partnership of transport authorities and local enterprise partnerships, chambers of commerce, the 2 airports and the Department of Transport and its agencies. We're solely funded by the Department of Transport and hosted by West Midlands Combined Authority. Our traditional role as transport planners has been to develop and present evidence to decision makers for investing in the strategic road and rail transport system. Our role has been broadened to help level up opportunities across the region and the UK, to help decarbonise the transport system and to help build a more resilient economy. This has led to us updating our vision for a fairer, greener and stronger Midlands. This broader remit has led us to working with wider group of stakeholders and in much broader technical areas. I mean, I always think we used to talk about the elephant in the room. We're now inviting lots of elephants into the room, and I think we had a giraffe the other week, so it's getting a lot more complex, the stakeholder mix. So how can we build complex collaborations around data with such a broad audience? And how can we check the supply chain and skills needed to deliver our vision? So to help with this, we've undertaken a proof of concept to use enterprise architecture to build a digital twin of the transport system and the green economy. I'm a long-term forecaster. My career has focused on understanding the demand to travel and its balance with the supply of transport infrastructure and services. Our new broader vision needs a different approach to transition to new cleaner energy sources, to develop vehicles to use these cleaner energy sources, and to understand how to get clean energy into these vehicles. It's becoming more common now to think across different resource themes like energy, materials, and also end user sectors like agriculture, heating and transport. But how can we bring this complex mix of stakeholders together and get them working together around data? If we can, then we can start asking questions like, is there enough clean energy to meet all future end user needs? And could this be applied to other resources like concrete, finance and so on? When we tried to answer this question, we found limited hard evidence on clean energy availability or the vehicles that can use it. So we've been taking deep dives into the supply chains to expose all the different components that make up the whole supply chain. We're using this insight to improve our forecasts of end user choice of transport mode and fuel type. And we're supporting regional demonstrators, for example, the hydrogen trucks through the H2GV MIDS, a bit of a mouthful, consortium to have truck trials in the Midlands, and also delivering electric vehicle charge points through the government's levy funding to deliver, Levi funding to deliver for all communities and geographies in the Midlands. These deep dives into hydrogen trucks and electric vehicles are what we've been calling steel threads, capturing the whole supply chain from start to end and allowing us to define and collate data to build new fuel type cost models and so improve our forecasts. Enterprise architecture was developed for the IT industry in the noughties and now has international supply chains and standards. We noticed that the innovative company East West Rail Company was using enterprise architecture to also provide traceable steel threads from the motivations and outcomes that they wanted to achieve to the resource and end user capabilities to enable that. Our proof of concept is to see if enterprise architecture can work across our region and help bring everyone together through a common understanding of the data. And checking it against our hydrogen truck and electric vehicle steel threads to see if we might be able to scale across other resource themes and end user sectors. So we commissioned Fraser Nash Consultancy to build these two threads, steel threads, using enterprise architecture. This started by interviewing key collaborators across our partnership and from the H2GV MID's Hydrogen Trucks project. This has helped us understand what the data looks like for cleaner energy resources needed for hydrogen trucks and electric vehicles. For resources, it has included the production, distribution and storage, which is fairly common across end users. So buses, waste vehicles, lorries, trucks, cars. It's also included various global capabilities like finance, safety standards or legislation. For the end users, it's helped us build better cost models for the choice of transport mode and fuel type and where to refuel and recharge. And now we're using these cost models to improve forecasts by different traveller and goods markets. It's also helping us check back to government targets and so present evidence of meeting these targets from the bottom up. And we're also able to use the enterprise architecture to check if we are aligned to the region's vision by working with stakeholders to define priority outcomes like jobs and emissions that align to our strategic objectives. We've completed our first iteration using enterprise architecture for hydrogen trucks, and we're currently adding electric vehicles. The model links motivations and outcomes to the capabilities for resources and end users. It seems to work well, and the proof of concept has built a publicly owned architecture that shows that enterprise architecture can provide infinitely scalable and shareable way of working with complex cross-sector stakeholder groups and supply chains. For hydrogen trucks, we've also developed some dashboards and charts to show supply chain readiness and what jobs and skills are likely to be needed up to 2050. But we've found it hard to collate data, with commercial sensitivity and understanding economies of scale being key issues. So looking forwards, could something like a subnational transport body be a trusted custodian of secure data? We think the answer is yes, as we can define the data to a level of detail sufficient to run public sector procurement and that protects intellectual property owned by the supply chain. Also, could we provide a collaborative system for expanding the enterprise architecture, and how would that be administrated? Certainly, collating more and more data will help us build our understanding of scaling and can help the government understand where it needs to invest. So we're hoping the answer is yes, but as Henry Ford said, coming together is just the start, working together is progress, but staying together is success. So thank you for letting me present to you. Thank you, Simon.
Brilliant. Thanks, Richard.